I've been called names on every platform that didn't exist.
But here's the thing, it doesn't make it right.
I think the point Alyssa's making here is she is a free speech.
Don't speak for her. She speaks very well for herself.
No, I will not defend to the death your right to call me. Sometimes it happens like this. Be nice.
They can't fact check it.
But free speech gives you a right to be wrong.
So if you haven't been living underneath a rock, then you know that social media has evolved over the years. It has pretty much taken a life of its own, some being pros and some being cons. One of the cons is censorship. A lot of conservative voices have been silenced, kicked off the app, or shadow banned for just speaking the truth or speaking their opinion. Now, these measures were taking place because places like Facebook and Instagram wanted to protect you from harmful content that was disruptive to certain communities. But they didn't count on things being biased. And because of this, Mark Zuckerberg decided to make a public announcement stating that they're now taking new measures to be able to give people back their freedom of speech. Now, y'all know people were not happy about this, including some of the ladies on The View. Let's take a look.
Mark Zuckerberg says he's following the footsteps of ex-owner Elon Musk by getting rid of third-party fact-checking on the site. Here's what he said yesterday.
She's so mad about this.
We've reached a point where it's just too many mistakes and too much censorship. The recent elections also feel like a cultural tipping point towards once again prioritizing speech. So we're going to get back to our roots and focus on reducing mistakes, simplifying our policies, and restoring free expression on our platforms. We're going to get rid of fact checkers and replace.
As they should.
I'm just curious because human rights activists...
Before they start, do y'all think that he's just doing this because of the president that we have in office? Or do you think that if Kamala won presidency, do you think that he would even care to switch up the way that they're doing things when it comes to the social media platforms? So do you guys just think it's just because of the new president? What? Put it in the comments.
This is a major step back that'll have misinformation, conspiracy theories, and bigotry running wild on the site. My question is, when did fact-checking become a bad thing?
Since Donald Trump became president.
Yes.
Absolutely. Meta, Facebook, they're imperfect. I will say this. I think
fact checkers are biased. So this is why he's saying what he's saying. The organizations that do the fact checking have become extremely biased, which means that most of the conservative voices were quieted rather than the woke voices. And that's not fair because it's supposed to be freedom of speech across the board. And yeah, there is things where like harmful content can get in there, but they also can put they can still keep the same measures like they put when, you have like commenting section where they can like stop you from saying certain words or certain things, but also to where people can still report content that is harmful. And then instead of them just banning you or giving you a repercussion, they can take a look and investigate first before they actually take action. So I think it's a way better idea. It's pretty much like it was before it became what it is today.
Balance between content moderation, free speech, and fact checking. And what I think Facebook has gotten wrong for some time is they've had third-party fact checkers. They're imperfect. I will say this. I think it's a balance between content moderation, free speech, and fact checking. And what I think Facebook has gotten wrong for some time is they've had third-party fact checkers, but then Facebook Meta would ultimately make a decision on can this content be on. Oftentimes fact checkers can't, or these staffers at Facebook can't have biases. I actually think listen, X has become a hellhole for a lot of reasons, but I think that community notes actually work. You have to say
by removing these fact checkers, I understand the concern was, and Joy, this might answer your question. There were some conservative viewpoints that were being taken down. So these fact checking industry started right in 2016 when President Trump was elected the first time. Yeah, it would be something like when there were debates on masks or shutdowns, they were taking these things off of the site, which as someone who could have debated that, these people were saying you're taking our content off of this site.
I'm going to just reject the fact that we don't know what a fact is.
Really?
I reject it outright.
No
There
one's
is a difference
suggesting that,
between
though.
opinion and fact. And there is,
is.
journalists like...
There's a difference between opinion and fact, and I don't think Sunny knows it, because she say a lot of her opinions and base it as facts until she get fact checked herself, or what was it called? A legal note.
that are, work for the New York Times, they know how to fact check. Journalism students are taught you fact check 3 different sources.
Journalists have gotten things wrong, though.
So this
That's
notion,
happened throughout
but
history.
this notion that
That part, journalists have gotten things wrong, whether it be on purpose or an accident, they have gotten these things wrong. That's the problem. That's the issue. Nothing is a fact anymore. And when it is a fact, they silence those facts. And then the fact checkers who are biased allow the opinions that have nothing to do with nothing just run rapid and control what we see and what we consume.
by the way, household objects is now permitted on Facebook.
But do you think it shouldn't be as much?
Users
Household
are now
objects?
allowed to, for
But
example,
just real
refer to
quick, let's
women
talk about
as
it.
household
Yeah,
objects.
it's an interesting
property.
conversation.
They can still regulate profanity, right? Like they can still regulate that. They can still regulate the words that you spew out if they want to. I mean, they're pretty much tech geniuses. They can do that if they want to. So I think that they're over exaggerating it because they feel like, to be honest, what's really on their mind is the whole gender thing. They're worried about how people acting towards that specific group will affect them. And they probably are also worried about, women or other people who are getting bullied. But I'm going to tell you this right now, like, even with the precautions that have been put in place, people still were getting bullied. People still were getting hateful videos and content made about them. And it hasn't changed anything. So I don't think that they're going to allow it to be that bad when it comes to freedom of speech. I think that they're still going to have some kind of restrictions. What y'all think about that?
So welcome back. We were just about to finish up, and I had to shut everybody down because of Paul.
I just wanted to put a button on what I was saying. There's a difference between free speech and hate speech, and we know that. Free speech, I welcome. I think everyone welcomes. It's your constitutional right. When you start delving into hate speech, which is what is happening all over social media, there's a problem with that. When you start delving into misinformation and disinformation, there's a problem with that.
But what is misinformation and disinformation to you, Sonny? Because your misinformation could be the actual truth, but you're saying that it's misinformation because that's not how you see things.
LGBTQ plus community mentally ill. That is harmful. Any corporations, and especially these oligarchs that own these social media companies, are bowing down to Trump so that they can make money off of the American people.
Okay, we can all have a bit of a comment, but on the free speech of it, and
I don't think that they bowing down to Trump at all. I just think that they understand the direction that society is going in because of our presidency. And yeah, our president do have influence. I think that they understand the route that it's going down, and they don't want to be an enemy of that. And that's smart.
So if we're gonna have this conversation, then let's have it.
All right, go ahead.
Because if we're gonna do that, we have to do it. Okay?
She's serious about this, y'all.
There are certain things where we all agree, boy, you shouldn't be saying that.
Absolutely.
That is not curbing your free speech. It's asking you to, not you, asking one to respect the fact that people don't want to hear that word when it has to do with them or Native Americans or women
there's also
or
an
any of
element
these
of
things.
voice
And that's,
under the hateful
and that's my
guidelines,
point.
but by the way, there is an element.
But I'm sure there's going to be boxes to say, hey, why are you reporting this content? Language. There's still ways to regulate it without shutting people's free speech away. I do agree that, in the case of bullying or trying to harm or hurt people, first off, nobody should be calling anybody a household object. That's a parenting issue, and that's a worldly issue. That's something that you have to take up with God, and you have to kill that. Like that can't be your vocabulary. Sorry, not sorry. It can't be your vocabulary. It's just not appropriate. If you don't say it at work or you won't say it around your grandma or you won't say it around people that you respect, and you won't talk like that around people you respect, then you shouldn't be saying it at all. But yeah, it's crazy because they about to pretty much, I feel like they've been shutting this girl up for the longest, the one in the blue, I forgot her name. And she's only been able to get out a couple of words, but they say that she's talking over everybody. This is crazy. And it's so funny that Whoopi Goldberg says this because y'all, this whole little panel has called Trump a Hitler. That's offensive to that man. You think that man want to be compared to Hitler? Like who Hitler truly was? A sociopath, a psychopath, a nut job, an evil, wicked person who wanted complete genocide, who wanted to kill a bunch of people. Like, that's not something to be compared to, and that's hurtful. That's mean. That's rude. And they've called Trump so many names, but yet they're on the side where, oh, freedom of speech, if it's harmful, that's not okay, but y'all don't call this man so many names. If you call a woman a household object, that's basically the same as you calling this man Hitler,
choice that comes into this. I would never subscribe to somebody who would use that language or who would incite
No, but you're on a site that says now, maybe it's okay to say
it wasn't before. Well, you guys were focusing on hate speech, but some of the beginning things they did were Facebook removed all content that said COVID was a man-made disease.
There was a time when there were cartoons when I was a kid, right? And they would make fun of Italians. What's the matter, you? He's a pizza. Everybody was a pizza maker.
Yeah.
And as a child, I felt like that was offensive to me.
Yeah.
So I understand. I have empathy for people who don't like it.
No one
when you are making fun of their group in a nasty way.
Right. No one is.
All right, I guess no
It's
one gets to
simply
finish a sentence here anymore. Okay.
No, I think the point Alyssa's making here is she is a free
Well,
speech.
don't speak for her. She speaks very well for herself.
No, but and I'm not.
Now,
doing
that's
that.
kind of bullying.
Free
That's kind of bullying a little bit because you can't just single her out and say, don't speak for her. She speaks enough for herself. Like, that's being a bully. It's so funny because this is what we talk about when it comes to liberals. They sit there and they make digs and jabs at other people's character. And they don't ever stop to look at their own character, at the fact that they do the exact same thing they tell other people not to do. That wasn't nice for you to say that about that girl. So what if she likes to hear herself speak? I don't even think that she even had that much time to talk, to be honest. And it's like every time she do have a point of view that's opposite from theirs, they cut her off too. They shut her down too.
It's the things we like when somebody wants to defend the free speech of people we disagree with.
That is not true.
I
don't want you calling me. I don't want people to call.
Comedy needs to be able to push limits.
Listen, comedy does push limits, but be smarter in your comedy. You don't need to offend me to be funny. I don't need to offend you to be funny. And so there are.
So what y'all think about this situation? I am feeling some type of way about both sides because people should have their freedom of speech. People are going to say what they want to say. People are going to do what they want to do. However, I do think that they should regulate some things that are harmful, of course. And this is what Mark Zuckerberg said he was going to do. He said that they were going to investigate it just before they take action. Not saying that they're not going to take action at all. They're just going to investigate it before, which is what they normally have done. They're just really getting rid of like the fact checkers and other things that have made things completely biased and have taken people's free speech away that wasn't even harmful. It was content that was shared that wasn't even harming anybody. That was just content in general to either give information or make people laugh or different things like that. Now, y'all know I'm God-fearing, so I don't condone any disruptive or disrespectful content at all. I don't even condone disruptive and disrespectful behavior in general. Like, get it together, fam. Get it together. We all slip up. We have our times. We ask the Lord for forgiveness and that's it. But I do think that there should be some type of regulation. I just don't think that they should regulate it so hard into a point where it's so biased that people who actually is sharing authentic truth gets silenced because of other people's agenda. And that's what it was. Liberals and woke culture have been running the internet. Conservatives have been trying to fight to get their voices heard, to share accurate information, and to go against what's being perpetuated in social media. You know what I'm saying? So what the propaganda that's happening. But what do you guys think? How do you guys feel about what Mark Zuckerberg said? And how do you guys feel about these ladies on The View, their viewpoint? Honestly, nobody's truly right in this situation, but at the same time, it just seems like the ladies on this panel, you know, like Sunny and the rest of them, they just only seem to agree with things that agree with them. And that's it. They have no neutral nothing. They just completely biased, and which is why they fighting so hard for it to stay the way that it was, because the way that it was more in their favor than it was for anybody. So what do you guys think? Put it in the comments. Be respectful. Have a healthy debate. And I will see you guys in my next video. God bless you. If you haven't already, give your life to Christ. It's the best thing that you'll ever do. Remember that he died. He rose again. He was buried. All for our sins, guys. And he will protect you. He will provide for you. He will be there for you. It's better to have a life with him than without him. I promise you there's peace in Christ. And that's something that you will want. That's something that we all search for. Peace, comfort, love. And you can only find that in Christ. Everything else will disappoint you, but Christ will never fail you. All right, so I will see you guys in my next video. Stay blessed.